Let's go through the papers in a bit more detail. Researcher and political commentator with Young Voices UK, Sophia Worringer is here. Sophia, very good morning.
Good morning, Rosie.
I mean, Kate does look great in the photograph, but it seems like we can't believe all of the details of it.
Yeah, this is a real misstep from Kensington Palace, I think, because they've tried to, as you said, put to bed these wild, some of them, rumours circulating around the internet about the Princess of Wales. And in fact, this photograph has actually just fueled more of them. And I think this is a shame, because the palace have always said that the Princess of Wales would be out of the public eye until Easter. She's recovering from an abdominal surgery, as the statement has said right from the beginning. But I think this really proves, as the late Queen Elizabeth said, that the royal family really have to be seen to be believed. And no one has seen Kate since Christmas, and therefore they're suddenly doubting where she is, whether she's still okay, all of these kind of things. And it just shows how important it is for the royal family to be constantly in the public eye to retain their popularity.
But, you know, I think if we just cut them some slack for a little bit, they made it very clear that the Princess of Wales wasn't going to be out and about doing any public duties until after Easter. Well, we're nowhere near there yet. You know, Easter's kind of almost a month away. So, you know, why is it that we, I don't know, have endless fueled rumour and speculation as to where she is when we've not been told anything different to what we were told before?
I think it shows something of her popularity that the Princess of Wales is so missed from the public scene. And you're right that it was always very clearly set out that she wouldn't be in the public eye until Easter. And fair enough for her if she's had a major operation. It's right that she is recovering in private, and nobody wants to be out in public when they're not looking their best, not least the Princess of Wales, whose every outfit and move and gesture is scrutinised to the nth degree. So completely fair that she wants to retain that privacy at this time. And I think the picture being edited or whatever has the Associated Press has said has happened to it, it could have a very kind of honest and innocent explanation. How difficult is it to get 3 children all smiling beautifully at the same time and not fidgeting? And it may be that it's a combination of images that have just been kind of brought together so that everybody looks the best in it. And all these kind of very innocent explanations have really been fueled into something more wild by this Associated Press retracting the image. So yeah, more to be seen.
Do you think it's a problem?
Kate. A problem that she hasn't been seen? No,
not that less, more that they've issued a photograph that now there are, you know, the most trusted news agencies across the world say we can't trust this photograph.
Yeah, I don't think that's a great look. And I think, in fact, it's the first time that a picture issued from Kensington Palace has had this kind of retract statement attached to it afterwards. I think it's not great for the palace, and hoping they can move forward from it quickly.
Let's talk about extremism. Front page of The Guardian, front page of The Times this morning. The Times' analysis here is Britain faces an alarming rise in intimidation and threats of violence against those perceived to have insulted Islam. This report that was commissioned by the government. What's your sort of gut reaction to this? Because when we get this new definition of extremism later on this week, there are concerns that it's being politicised in a way that could cause more harm.
I mean, all this conversation is always very political, but I think it's very important that blasphemy laws do not become adopted in the UK, either in legislation and guidance or in de factos, where people are kind of in hiding continually after criticising parts of Islam or the Prophet. So it's central to our freedom of religion and belief in this country that you have the right to criticise or even insult another religion. Not saying that is a good thing, but you have the right to exercise that freedom, and it should definitely not be criminalised. So it is concerning that there is a push for this to be adopted in the UK, and I think the government's move to create a new definition of extremism will be wrought with problems. So as you said, bringing that out over the next few weeks, and Michael Gove is leading on that. We need to make sure that it doesn't give ground to those who would manipulate it for wrong ends. Yeah,
and I think lots of people have those concerns. The front page of the Mail this morning, Sophia, the Town Hall's woke spree. I mean, this is right up their street, this type of story. They say, as the Chancellor demands an end to public sector waste, bankrupt and hard-up councils double their spending on diversity schemes. You know, this is sort of perfect fodder for the paper, but do they have a point?
Yeah, I think they do. Councils don't have the right to spend as they wish and then come cap in hand back to central government once they've run out of money. And we know more and more councils are running out of money. I think it's Birmingham Council that have gone bust but had a very high wage role of assistant director of communications services, equality, diversity, and inclusion. It's like, what does that actually do for the people of Birmingham? It may be very good on your reports where you talk about particular metrics you want to hit, but does that make a difference to the lives of the people of Birmingham? Probably not. And they're paying the price for that. Obviously, the reason the council have gone bust is not because only of these very high quality, very high wage jobs, but it is part of the waste of these councils. And I do think it needs to be addressed. The government, central government, is right to impose kind of concern about these roles continuing.
Yeah, well, this is, the paper says, almost £52 million worth of taxpayers' cash has been spent by local authorities on equality, diversity and inclusion roles. Would you sort of do away with them, reduce spending on those types of roles?
I think we should reduce spending on them. I think the spending should be going to frontline service delivery. We know that councils are really struggling with the increase in costs they're facing because of adult social care, for example, as we have an ageing population. That is far more important and will make far more of a difference to the lives of the people across this country than filling arbitrary quotas, which is what these roles are about.
We've been talking about AI already on the programme. The other side of the coin, this is inside the Times. Publishers have been telling AI firms that they've got to pay if they want their content. This is sort of Britain's biggest publishers have written to loads of technology companies to say, look, if you want to use content from our books, journals, newspapers to build your AI models, that's got to come at a cost. We might say sort of fair enough.
Yeah, I do think fair enough. And it shows that we are always, unfortunately, paying catch up with regulation to artificial intelligence. It is moving away from us faster than any government can get a grip on. But I do think there is very real concerns about the creative industries being able to not monetize their skills and what they've contributed to this space as AI takes their things that they've produced and just sweeps them up and is the companies that are the ones who are benefiting from it, when those who've actually created the products and had the genius to go through that creative process are not benefiting. So I do think that the creative industries are very right to be concerned about this problem. But again, it just shows how little we really know about the dangers and also, of course, the opportunities of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, well, and particularly it's all these companies generating all the content that then AI scrapes to produce its own. I think, some of the analysis said the AI doesn't have, original thought. Every time it comes up with something, it's borrowed it, or you could say stolen it from somewhere else. Final thing I want to talk to you about, this is inside at the Times, as soon as you open it. NFL fans, are you an NFL fan? It doesn't sort of do it for me. We might talk about this in the sport in a minute, but spectators at this American football game were so dedicated that as fans, they watched the game in minus 20 degrees Celsius. That has had some significant health effects. People got frostbite. Some people had to have fingers amputated because they went to go and watch the game. Can you imagine, Sophia, being that passionate about anything, you put yourself through something like that?
I really can't. I don't think I would be committed enough at all. And it just shows the danger of sport here, but this time not just for the athletes, for the spectators as well.
Yeah, it seems absolutely crazy. You might think there's questions to be asked of the organisers to say, was it actually safe to have lots of people stood out in the cold if it was going to be that freezing?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there is a bit of a kind of bravado attached to these fans who pride themselves in being able to withstand freezing temperatures, and often they kind of would then take their tops off as the cameras go round to show that they are fine and enjoying themselves. And while that may be funny, as you can see, that has dire consequences. So yeah, poor people who've had to suffer this, and I do hope next time round maybe they get some heaters in the stadium or something.
Good. I think I don't know how many you'd need to make a stadium like that actually warm. Sophia, thank you so much. Sophia Worringer, researcher and political commentator with Young Voices UK, going through the papers with me this morning.